Hi, I'm Daniel from Buttercross Estates, and we're here on Kirkgate in Newark to speak with David Moore, owner of Newark Art Gallery and Studio. Let's go inside and take a look. Hi David, thanks for meeting us today.
Pleasure.
It's lovely to see you.
Pleasure.
It's a lovely day today. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of see us and tell us a bit more about yourself and your business. So start off, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell us a bit more about who you are and what you've been doing?
Yeah, I'm David Moore. This is Newark Art Gallery. I've been here for just over a year in this particular building. I was across the road in another building for 5 years before that. Live in Newark, resident of Newark, and love the place.
Yeah, perfect. It's you've been in here a year, but it looks like you settled in really well. We've just been having to walk around, and there's some really good displays on show, which we'll come and see in a second, featuring lots of different artists, I think, from around the area. Have you got a particular kind of style? And obviously, I see you're painting at the minute. Can you tell us a bit about that? What you're on with?
That's going to be sort of one of a series of sort of our dark satanic mills. They're quite dark, old industrial pieces, generally in greys, blacks, dark browns, that sort of work. It'll be part of an exhibition that'll be coming in later on in the year.
Okay, and which one's that one?
Which one's that one? That'll probably be the first one to be. I normally take old black and white photos and use those as a reference, and then just work forward from there. So generally, there's no name attached to them. It's just an image of what England used to be like in the
Victorian times.
In the Victorian times, when everything was just coal dust everywhere and you're choking on the air. Yeah,
that's good. I mean, it's times have changed now, and actually a lot of these mills are being converted into housing. I mean, we've just listed a few recently. So things do change and businesses evolve, as we see on the high street. We were talking about kind of a few businesses changing just now as well.
It's the way it goes. I mean, certainly post-COVID, things have changed quite dramatically. I mean, 100 years ago, here we are in Kirkgate. This was at one time was cobbled. There would have been sheep being driven up here for the market 100 years ago. Things change. Towns evolve, especially towns our size. They're allowed to evolve, and generally it's for the good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got, I think, 7 apartments above the 2 shops here now. That was just empty storerooms before. So let's bring in a nighttime trade to Newark, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that will help with not just like kind of footfall and things for you and your neighbours, but hopefully help Newark generally overall. Yeah. So tell us a bit about how you came to be kind of with the Newark Art Gallery and Studio.
Oh wow, okay. I've always painted and drawn, what have you. In 2016, we were still living in South Africa. I'd had enough of the corporate world, and so my wife said, well, you've always wanted to open a gallery, just go and do it. So my first one was in Johannesburg, and then when we moved back to the UK, I looked around for a town that had a historic significance, a good visitor footfall, and somebody mentioned Newark, and I only knew Newark from history lessons at school, so I'd never been here before. Came here, had a look around, I found the first building that I was in. I liked the place, I liked the people that I spoke to. That's the one thing that's really attracted me to the town, is the friendliness of people. I said, okay, let's go for it. And here I am.
Never look back. Fantastic. No, that's really good to see. And there's such an eclectic mix of what we have on offer here. Let's just spin around, Lauren, so we can kind of see what else we've got on show. But do you want to talk us through some of the people and artwork we have?
Works by one of our local artists, Pat Murray. In fact, there's a couple in here by her husband as well, Andy Murray. Not to be confused with the tennis star. Pat worked as an illustrator professionally for many years. She retired from that. She now lives in Balderton. Her and Andy live in Balderton. They paint from their homes. I'm very fortunate to have her work. She's a very prolific artist, doing a lot of pieces. We've got a piece there of Porter's. Everybody knows Porter's Corner, and you can see her illustrative ability in the architecture of that work. Really is lovely. I've got a piece over here, Herbie Weissmer, also again, local artist, generally working on architectural pieces of Newark, which he loves. It really does.
I quite like how they're like little snapshots, that kind of like windows into and it kind of intrigues you a little bit as to the rest of it. Perhaps like I can't even recognise where this one is. Is that part of the church?
Yeah, I think that's Barnby. That's not Barnby in the Willows. No, so no, that's St. Mary's.
Yeah, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. That one I think might be Holm.
Okay.
And yeah, he generally takes local scenes, local architecture, and draws them up and paints them.
Yeah, fantastic. That's some lovely stuff.
Thank you. A lot of ceramicists in. If we look over here, the medieval replica pottery. That's Trinity Court Potteries, who are out in Girton at the moment. Jim and Emma Newbolt cast those. He's been doing that. Jim's been doing that for about 30 plus years. He's collected. People collect his work.
I've also spotted some excellent pieces of artwork by our very own Claire Harrison, who does our wonderful home gift cards. Just take a look at these. So one of the pieces that just caught my eye is this lovely shot of the marketplace. Who's this one?
That's by a local artist, Tony Golding. It was one of two pieces. The other one that I had with it has been sold. It was taken from a photograph that was taken from the top of the church.
Yeah.
Whether somebody went up the scaffold or whether it was from when the spire was open, I don't know. But I just enjoyed it. You know, it's a fresh piece.
Yeah.
It was interesting because I was chatting to a lady called Sarah Bullimore, who does a lot with Inspire, and they'd just done something with people in Newark, talking about Newark, well, the colours of Newark, and so many people said red and white.
Yeah.
Simply because of the market stall.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, because they're there the whole time, it is iconic, isn't it? It is a symbol of the square.
Yeah, every time you walk through, it's there, and you may not register it after the first time of seeing it, but it's just there. You know. So yeah, I just really liked it. It was a nice piece, and hopefully somebody else is going to like it a lot as well.
Indeed. Yeah. No, I think so. So talking a bit more back to business and what you've done. Have you got any suggestions to someone that's looking at starting out, either kind of in the art area or opening up a gallery themselves, perhaps not in Newark, but you know, surrounding?
Anyone in the arts, make sure you've got a wealthy partner. Look, if you're going to be renting a studio as an artist, then you may as well, if you can, rent a shop front as well. It's not that much more expensive, and at least you've got an opportunity to move your trade, move your paintings, and also the opportunity to bring other people in. So you're given more of an eclectic mix to the potential customers. And I'd also say to people, if you can, always make sure you're next to an estate agent, because people stop at estate agent windows all the time.
That's true.
They do. So if you're next door to it, chances are you've got a chance, you know, someone's going to have a good look at your window.
Yeah. And you can always just run out and say, if you're buying a new house, this picture would look excellent in that property there, wouldn't it? So yeah, works both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, just make sure you've got enough to keep the lights on for the first 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
You know, got that in your back pocket or in the bank.
Yeah.
Because, well, we all know, the first week of a new business, everybody comes in, they all want to have a look, and then things start to taper off and flatten out a bit.
Yeah.
Till it becomes the norm.
Until people start filming in your shop, and then everyone keeps coming in. So.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
As the sale just happened a second ago, so happens.
So there we go. Yeah, that's a good example. Now we are very, very fortunate in this area. We really are in our district that we've got so many talented artists and ceramicists and glass workers. And I don't know what I think got to me when we first came here, because there were so many artists. I thought, why were there so few galleries?
Yeah.
Couldn't understand it. I really couldn't. So yeah, that also gave me the impetus to open this place, and I've got 12 other artists work here, as well as half a dozen ceramicists and glass workers and stuff. And we do okay.
Good.
We really do.
Yeah. Well, I think it's testament to how long you've been here, so that's really good. So
you're
definitely doing more than keeping just the lights on. That's for sure. So
some months you wonder, but there's a lot going on in Newark. there's a lot happening in Newark. We've got the whole marketplace regeneration, that's coming forward now, which is going to be good for business. It really is. It takes time. It really does. Anything takes time when you're trying to rebuild a town, especially after something like COVID, which has killed so many businesses. It takes time, but we'll get there. I am very positive about the place. Okay. We've moved here. I've got my business here. My wife works here. We bought a house here. We're here. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So
that's good. Yeah. So business, obviously, been here for a while, like we've just talked about. Looking back and with hindsight, is there anything that you might do differently or have done differently?
No. I mean, everything you do, there's always a lesson to be learned in any business. But no, I wouldn't have. Really, I really wouldn't. I like where I've been. I like where I am now. We've got a good customer base. I really think that. Get a lot of regular customers coming in, to buy cards. We have a wonderful selection of cards by Vanessa Stone and Pat Murray. No, I don't think I would.
Good.
Don't think so.
Perfect. That's great. It's good to know. And another piece that is very striking, which you see here to our right, is this. I assume it's a bench. Yeah, a book bench. So, what's this?
It was all part of Newark Create, Inspire. There was a book bench walk around Newark last summer.
Yeah.
I think at the end of summer, I was approached because they were looking for somewhere for these things to hibernate throughout winter.
Okay.
And I said, I've got the perfect spot.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a perfect painting to sort of go with it as well.
Yeah,
of all these penguins diving off the icebergs. And it's actually wonderful because when I get people coming in, especially with their kids, who were around last summer and recognise, oh look, it's one of the seats from last year. I think it's beautiful. I think all of them are absolutely stunning, and it was a stunning initiative. I love public art like this. I really do. And unfortunately, sometimes public art does get vandalised.
Yeah.
These never did.
Right.
And there was a lot of naysayers in the town at the time. So, wait for someone to nick them, or they get sprayed. Nothing. People just loved them, and I think they're great. And the more we can get funding for doing things like this, the better off I think the town is. Yeah. Really. I just love. Yeah. I love bright colours. Well, I'm an artist, but you walk through the town, everything's bright and cheery and summery. Yeah. What a pleasure.
No, I think these are great. These remind me of did you see in Nottingham when they had the ducks? They had the ducks painted throughout Nottingham, and they've got lots of different styles, also depending on the areas and things. Probably about 5 years ago now, but really, really good. Really got like iconic pieces, and I think that really highlights that. And also, it's great for tourism because people will see that come and share that online as well.
I mean, the amount of people that came, because I had a whole lot of the maps where all the shops in town had them, maps of where the benches were, and there was a whole competition that went with it. You've got to find a letter with each one. Gave away so many of those, and people coming in with 2 or 3 young kids. Right, where do we go next? Where are we going? What a pleasure. Yeah. What a pleasure. I mean, that's what a town's about. You're bringing people together, you're giving them an enjoyable feast for their eyes. You really are. Yeah. I love it. I really do.
Perfect. That's great. So, with Newark, what do you love most about Newark and the town?
People, the architecture, yes, but the people in Newark are great. They really, really are. They're friendly people, and what more do you want? Yeah. Really. You walk through town and people recognise me probably because I'm on the council now and what have you, but they recognise me from the shop as well. And they say, "Oh, hi David, how are you?" That means a lot. It really does.
Good. Yeah, that's good. And also having that nice customer base as well and repeat customers is lovely. So that's great. And in terms of Newark itself, what is your hidden gem, or what do you love most? If someone was coming into your shop today, just arrived from out of town, what would you tell them they must see or do?
Depending on when it is during the week, if they're looking for a cup of coffee, it would be go around to see Anthony Foxhall at Let's Escape Cafe. I go there quite regularly to board game and what have you. I send people off also regularly to the Civil War Centre, down to have a look at the Palace Theatre. Riverside Walks goes down to see the barge, the museum. Was it the Castle Trader or so? Anyway,
Leicester Trader.
Leicester Trader. That's it. Yeah, Les's barge. Just send people around the town. Yeah. And the amount of people that I've spoken to here who are from out of Newark, who say, "What a beautiful town! Yeah. Love the architecture, love the buildings. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous."
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
There is. It's a great place.
Great.
It really is.
Well, thank you for today. Pleasure to chat and find out more. So if you do want to pop into town and see some of the delights that we have here, we're on 42A Kirkgate. So pop in and say hi and bring some cash, because you'll fall in love with something, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks very much.